Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I am going to be giving you some tips on how to level up your art videos. I've been making a lot of art videos for my job during the past few months and I've learned quite a lot, and I thought I would make a video on giving you some tips and advice on how to make your art videos look and flow a little bit better. I am not an expert in making art videos, you know, I just kind of do what I want to do, learn as I go along, but I feel I have learnt quite a bit over the past few months, so I thought this might be a useful video for you smaller art creators out there on how to make your videos look that little bit more better. More better? That is really bad grammar. My English teacher from GCSE is probably screaming at me right now. Probably not even watching, but definitely screaming at me. So before we get into that, I'm just going to tell you what I'm drawing in the background. I am doing some more digital art. I've been loving digital art recently, and I had this idea of Charlie sitting on a giraffe's head knitting a scarf because the giraffe is cold, and that is what we're doing. I inked it, sketched it, coloured it all digitally, and it is available as a colouring page on my Patreon, which I've been really bad at doing recently, but I'll leave a link to it down below. It's in the lowest tier, so if you want to colour this yourself, go and check out my Patreon, link in the description below. And yes, so that is what I'm doing, and I'm really pleased with how this turned out. It's also on Redbubble if you want to print or merch. Another self-plug, link below. And yeah, I remember the scarf just taking a long time, and I still get flashbacks to drawing all of the stitches in the scarf, so pay particular attention to that. So anyway, that is what the art is, so now let's get into the main body of the video. So I'm going to split this into 4 parts: filming, editing, voiceover and thumbnails. So let's start with filming. So when you are filming your art video, you want to put your camera as a top-down view for the most part, and I do this by screwing my camera onto a tripod, weighing it down with a load of books, taping the tripod to a chest of drawers. It's very professional. But it doesn't matter what your setup looks like, it matters more what the viewfinder sees. So you can have the most dodgiest setup with tape, weighed stuff down, tripods everywhere. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your setup looks like. So when you are filming your artwork, you need to make sure it's in frame, and this is something I'm not always good at. I'm much better at it now since I've been doing my art videos for work, because I'm more conscious of it, because the videos that I'm making are easy crafts for children. So it's easier for me to see whether I'm in frame because I'm not concentrating on making the artwork look perfect. So you can check that your artwork is in frame by looking at the viewfinder. If you don't have your viewfinder facing towards you, if you don't have a camcorder or a flippable viewfinder, you just need to maybe check every so often to check that you are still in frame and make your frame area look quite nice. You might want to scatter some art supplies around and make it a nice clean colour. Maybe you want to put some contact paper down on your desk. I just used plain paper, just scatter the art supplies I'm using around, make it look vaguely nice. If you're doing more studio vlog style art videos, then this might not matter so much because you might want to show a realistic image of your desk rather than like a nice clean version, because my videos I show a clean, tidy, scattered art supplies artistically look, whereas the rest of my desk is not clean and tidy a lot of the time. And now I'm going to talk about lighting. When you are filming your art videos, you want to use white or daylight lights, daylight bulbs. I have these 2 soft boxes which I got from Amazon. They're not too expensive, they're around £40 for the set, and it really does make a difference, and you want to angle them at different angles, so one coming from one side and one coming from the other side as much as you can, because the more lights you attack your artwork with, the more it will look nicer on camera. So that is lighting. If you don't have these lights, you can film with the light behind you, film with your window behind you, or you can maybe get a couple of white desk lamps just to boost it a little bit. And like I said, a lot of your view is going to be from top down, but you can add some B-roll footage. This is something I've not been as good at doing recently, but I probably should get better at it. And you can use your phone to do this. You don't have to use a camera. You don't have to have 2 cameras set up. And B-roll is just occasionally filming yourself from a different angle, colouring it in, or filming the final product, or filming you getting your art supplies out, or something like that. Just every so often insert some B-roll footage into your video, and this will just make it a little bit more interesting and just take it away from the top-down view every so often, just to keep the viewer on their toes. So now I'm going to talk about the editing, and in my editing I've learned that a mix of sped up footage and real-time footage works quite well, because just sped up footage isn't always that interesting, especially if you don't have a lot to say in your voiceover. I know I've just sped up this footage, but I want this video to be more about the voiceover than the actual art footage itself, and I don't really have a lot of time to get this video out, so that is why I am not following my own advice right now. But in general, I prefer to do a bit of a mixture, especially if it's a tutorial. You want to put some more real time and just cut out big chunks rather than just speed it up, because that can look quite nice if you like join the clips together, fuse the clips together, and do some nice transitions. So vary your speed, because that will make the video look more interesting. And colour correcting as well. This is something that took me quite a long time to figure out was actually a thing. You can in editing software, especially in DaVinci Resolve, which is an editing software that I recommend. It has revolutionised my video editing, sped up my process a lot, and the colour correcting is amazing. So what you want to do is maybe adjust the brightness to be a little bit lighter, and this can be done in the color correcting screen on DaVinci, or you can do it in your effects on whatever software you have. And this will help if you don't have the best studio lights. If your lighting that you have is not the best, you can fix it this way a little bit in editing. And the main thing you want to do is adjust the saturation, because things on camera tend to look a little bit washed out. The colour goes for some reason, and especially in a video camera, a camcorder, which I have. So you want to adjust the saturation and boost that. Not too much, because you don't want to look like garish, but you want to adjust it a little bit, make it a little bit higher. On DaVinci, I usually set it to around 64, but it just depends on how your filming looks. And you want to cut your video as smoothly as possible. Don't have too many jerky cuts. You can dissolve your clips into each other. Just play around with your own editing software so that the clips run smoothly together. And think about where you're going to insert your B-roll. If you film B-roll footage, just think about where to put it. Maybe put some every couple of minutes. It's totally up to you though. This is something that you want to experiment, and it's very much about individual style. So now going to the voiceover. I used to record my voiceover on my mobile phone, and that is okay. It's not the best, but it does the job. If you can't afford a microphone, it does the job. But I now have a USB condenser mic, and that is what I would recommend. They're not too expensive. And if you have Audacity, which is free audio editing software, it is amazing, and it is a bit of a game changer. And you can edit your voiceover, record straight into Audacity and edit it with the effects. And the effects that I use are compressor, noise reduction, just as a motorbike goes by. Hopefully that will be cut out once I edit that out. Compressor, noise reduction, limiter, filter curve, which usually just adds a bass boost, and normalize. But there are many more that you can do. I'm very basic with my editing at the moment, my Audacity editing, but this is something I want to improve on. And there are many tutorials on YouTube on how to do it, very many, and they're quite easy to follow. So have a look, and Audacity is free. You can edit audio in your video editing software. That's absolutely fine as well, but I just prefer Audacity because it's very easy to use. But yeah, and with your voiceover, it's always good to, especially if you're doing a tutorial, I usually edit my video first and get all the clips and get a rough cut of how it's going to look, even if it's a tutorial. And then what I do is I open Audacity, hit record, and then watch the video through and talk as I'm watching it, especially if it's a tutorial. Then I can explain what I'm doing, etc, etc. And this works really well for me. You might have a different style, but this is just how I do it. I also don't script my voiceovers anymore. When I first started YouTube, I scripted my voiceovers and they sounded so robotic. I really hated it. I really hated how they sound. So now I either don't script at all, or I just write notes. Like for this one, I have just written notes and I'm just looking at it every so often to make sure I cover exactly what I want to say. And you want to sound quite clear, so speak slower than you would do in real life. And also when you're editing, you want to make the voiceover sound smooth, and naturally when you are speaking, when you're thinking about what to say, you often make gaps just like that, and when you're editing you want to cut those out, and that's quite easy to do. Cut them out and paste the audio further together so it doesn't sound like this. It's not jarring to listen to. And another tip is to try and let your personality come through in your voiceovers. This is something that I've been trying to do and I think it's working. I'm not sure. I try to be funny, I try to be candid, I try to just be myself and talk. Sometimes it's a bit rambly, but that doesn't matter. I'd rather be myself and ramble a little bit than not be myself and be fake and just produce something that's robotic. So that is my tip for you. Just be yourself and let your personality come through, because that will really help make your videos unique and more watchable. And finally, your art video begins with your thumbnail. You want to make a thumbnail that people want to click on. And one of my main tips for this is don't show the full artwork. Don't show the full artwork. Either show a work in progress shot, so people will be like, oh, I wonder what this looks like when it's finished. Show the art supply if it's a product review. Blur out the final product, but don't show the complete art piece. And also, tacky thumbnails can be really good. People click on tacky thumbnails. Doesn't matter if it looks really tacky. Tacky thumbnails are my aesthetic. I love a good tacky thumbnail. So be as tacky as you like, because that usually does grab people. And also put as little text as possible on your thumbnail and just do big, short titles on the thumbnail. Don't put loads of text on because people don't read it. And also, YouTube does like a face. It does like a face in a thumbnail. But if you don't want to show your face, that's fine. You don't have to do that. I do sometimes, I don't all the time. I don't even do face cam so much anymore. I much prefer just concentrating on the art, but that is totally up to you. And my final piece of advice is, if you want to make art videos, just start doing it, because you're just going to get better. I've improved drastically. If you go back and look at my first video, it is atrocious, but I'm keeping it on my channel because I want to see how I've improved. And I keep going back to even videos a few months ago, and I can see how much I've improved. My editing's improved, my filming's improved, my art has improved. It's just practice, and you just have to keep doing it. That's all really I have to say. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been useful in some way. I hope it has. Maybe to someone, I don't know. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, emotionally, do leave it a like down below and leave me some tips in the comments below, your tips on how to level up making videos. But that's all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.